Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Sunday, September 14th. I hadn't planned on doing a video this morning because I was debating whether to go fishing, cut firewood. There's always something to do, right? I finished up the hay ground yesterday that I had on the ground, so I got that all baled and wrapped for this winter. So I thought today we'd talk about choosing your path because I've heard a number of people say, if you believe in God, why does He allow such terrible things to happen in people's lives? So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekend. This is Sunday. We can go off the rails. Monday through Friday is business and repairs. But the big question is why does God allow suffering? Why does God allow certain things to take place? And it's not so much that He allows things to take place. It's more so that He allows us free will. That is the will to choose our path. And as much as He would like to step in and save everybody, He can't. And certain things have to take place. And, I can remember back when my parents passed away when I was just a kid. And I was asking my grandmother why, and she said, well, sometimes, God calls you back when He's ready for you. And there's always a reason. And I grew up questioning that reason of, well, if God is so great, why am I parentless? But the actual true fact of the matter was my grandparents stepped in as parents. And I was blessed to be raised by both of them. That they raised me with love, respect, and in our household, the worst thing you could do was disappoint them. And so that was the goal, was to try not to do anything that would disappoint my grandmother or my grandfather. And he taught us right from wrong, and so does she. But she was the more loving school teacher. She's right direct and to the point, where he could tell you through stories and where you had an interest in listening and trying to decide what direction to go. But God doesn't say, let's have this person do a horrific act. No, that's that person and nobody else. We are here for such a short time. And, you say, well, I'm 62, that's a lot of years. And in reality, it's not. It's just a short time of when this earth was created. I would hope that I'm leaving this world a better place than what I found it. And if that's through videos, if that's through, talking to my grandkids and my kids in such a way that they try to choose the right path. I have people ask me, that how can someone, they've chose this path and found out that it wasn't a good path to follow. And I hear a lot of people say, well, they can never change. And that's totally wrong, because people can change. We talk about in time we have experiences, good and bad. And when we learn from the bad ones, that gives us wisdom, right? And how to do it the right way. And that's how life is, basically, when it comes to your path. You may choose the wrong path at times, but that isn't a life sentence. That just means you found out that it's not going to work this way and you need to find a different way. Backtrack, think it over, and then try again. I know people are quick to judge you by your past. And You need to be less concerned about what they think and more concerned about what you think and what you feel is the right path. Don't do it because everybody else wants you to do it. You need to find your own path. And sometimes that path is outside the norm of what everybody else is doing. It's okay to be different. As long as you're not infringing on others, to each their own. It's when you start to have this debate of, if you don't think like-minded like me, you're the enemy. And that's a bad path to go. We're all unique. There's no other just like you. God created us as his likeness, but we all have our own personalities, our own experiences that define who we are, right? And a lot of people, when they're quick to judge, don't realize what you may have gone through in your life so far up to this date. So they're quick to judge you instead of, well, let me put it this way. The way I look at when it comes to judging someone else is that I really have to take a good accounting of myself. And am I a perfect person? And can I judge somebody else? And the answer is no. I've said it more than once. I'm probably the most imperfect person you're going to find. And I tend to do my own thing. I try to help people whenever I can. I surround myself with what I call good people that are willing to help other people when they need it and want nothing in return. Just doing it because it's the right thing to do. I talked yesterday about intolerance, and I got to thinking there last night. I have a lot of friends that are non-believers. And actually one's an atheist. And they're friends, and I consider them good friends of mine. But someone would say, how can you do that? They're totally opposite of what you are. Okay, so what's wrong with that? Why should I feel that they should have the same like-mindedness as me in order to be friends? We're all different. And my feeling is the more experiences I have with people, the better I am, the more rounded I am, okay? And I'm okay to agree to disagree on certain things and still keep a good friendship or family ties. I guess today's video is, if you're on the wrong path, now is the time to put the brakes on, take a good look and find out why you're on the wrong path, and then decide what are your options. What are the better options than what you're doing right now? If you're a workaholic and you have a family, you might want to change some things in that path of having more time for your family. Your kids only grow up once, and then the next thing you know, you got grandkids, all right? And if you don't stay involved in their lives, it's going to have an impact on them. Saying that you're too busy because you have work isn't a good excuse. But this isn't going to be a long video. It's more towards God doesn't allow certain things to take place because we have free will and free choice, and we get to choose our own path. Some people choose the wrong path, and for whatever reason, they succumb to what public opinion should be when they shouldn't do that. You have to understand that we're different. Okay, that's the big thing for today, is that we're different, and that's a good thing. Should we do things that aren't good to people that aren't like-minded? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can you be friends with people that have other viewpoints? I would hope so. I do. And actually, it would be a boring world if everybody did think alike, right? You know, I mentioned yesterday that the United States is one of the best places to grow up and try to do anything because you have the ability to start your own business or raise a family and raise them the way you feel is right. There's so many things that you can do, and we value individual rights. God values individual rights as well. And in that tone, He allows us to choose what direction we want to go. So if you're out there and you're quick to judge people in your community that maybe fell onto the wrong path, you might want to really take a good accounting of how perfect you are. Because I have yet to meet a perfect individual. Everybody has their flaws. Everybody is just human. But this world would be a lot better place if we learn to put those differences aside and just agree to disagree on a lot of topics. Whether it be religion, politics, what have you. You don't have to be a God-fearing person to be a friend of mine. You don't. There's certain things that we're going to have to agree to disagree on, and that's okay. You know, why not? Give me a reason why I shouldn't do that, you know. So try this for today. Today being Sunday and stuff and all, is look around your community and see if there's anybody that you can help. If there is and you have the ability to help, help them. If you see somebody on the wrong path, before you judge, make sure you judge yourself. I mean, pretty simple, simplistic, right? Good old common sense and just being a good person goes a long ways. You know, I talk about my business, and the reason I'm still in business is because I treat people like the way I would hope to be treated, not the way I've been treated in the past. I try to make my customers my friends because I'm willing to do more for my friends. I want to know more about my customer than just pay the bill. If you're a single mom raising a daughter, I'm going to give you a break. And I know some people are going to say, well, you can't do business that way. Well, I've done it for quite a few years and it's worked. You give back where you can give back. And enjoy the ride. So, on that note, you guys have a great Sunday. And we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning for the beginning of the weekday. So, enjoy your Sunday.